What's going on, everybody? I'm going to be a little quiet because my fiance is napping in the other room, so hopefully I don't wake her or the dogs up. Um, I put out a poll out there just the other day to kind of get a feeling for whether or not people would want me to speak about this, and I decided, and the poll decided that I should. So we're going to dive into the hot button topic of transgenders in sports. Um, I will caveat this throughout the show and right here, right now, just so everybody knows, I have no problem with transgender people. Um, I've had a transgender person on my show. I would do it again. I have no problem with that person. I'd go buy them a drink. I'd hang out with the person. They're a great person. I have zero issues with anyone who's transgender or who thinks that that's the way that they need to go to make themselves happy. I am personally against putting that on children because I feel like their brains aren't fully developed and they don't quite have the same moral agency that me or probably anybody listening to this podcast would have. So they're not quite able to make decisions for themselves. They don't have the same informed consent that we as adults do. So no problem, no disrespect to any transgender person, but is this a hot button topic and issue going forward? I think it needs to be discussed, and I think there needs to be a little bit more science put into the conversation where um, so we can kind of separate the wheat from the chaff, because we could say there's gender's a social construct and there's 68 and a half genders or whatever you call yourself, that's fine. If you want me to call you a she, I'll do that. I'm not going to sit here and fight about it. Now, if it's compelled by law, then, well, it's a little bit of a different story. But on a personal level, I would have no problem calling anybody something they want to be called within reason, right? Um, so there are obvious differences between men and women, and we'll get into this a little bit more throughout this show. But I'm sure you could see by just walking out your front door that men are typically a little bit bigger than women, and women are typically a little bit smaller than men. That's okay. Women typically aren't as strong as men. That's okay. Men are typically stronger than women. That's okay. We're different. It's fine. There's things that my fiance is good at that I'm not good at. There's things that she's not good at that I'm good at. Um, we're just born different. We're built different, and that's perfectly okay. She's gonna be, a great mom one day. She's gonna have kids, and she'll be great at that. And I'll hopefully be a good dad. Right? We're just different roles, different people, and that's perfectly fine. That's the way it's been all throughout history. And as men and women, we're better together than we are apart. Right? Two brains are better than one. And once again, we're complementary. I think that's absolutely true. And I think that the nuclear family for the longest time is kind of the bedrock of society. A lot of people, or I should say a lot of people, but some people kind of disagree with that. But I think that is the truth, is that you need tight knit communities, and that children need a mother and a father in the home to produce the best outcome for that child. And I've covered that in another podcast that I'll probably release later. But so let's kind of dive into this here. I'm going to do a little share screen and make sure that I got everything I need to get up here. So this was a story that had kind of broke and got everybody up in a tizzy. So Penn swimmer Leah Thomas becomes first known transgender athlete to win Division I national championship. This is from ESPN. Leah Thomas is the national champion. Thomas, who is a transgendered woman, touched the wall in 4 minutes, 33.24 seconds in the 500-yard freestyle on Thursday night to become the first known transgender athlete to win a Division I national championship in any sport. Thomas finished 1.75 seconds ahead of second place Emma Wyant, who attends Virginia. Thomas's time was season best and a little more than 9 seconds off Katie Ledecky's 4:24 record. I think that's a little bit off, but we'll continue on. Anyways, the race began with the crowd cheering for each of the swimmers, but fans were noticeably quiet for Thomas's introduction. Save Women's Sports founder Beth Stesler draped the final banner with the organization's phrase over the railing. During the race, Thomas was alternately tested by Olympians Brooke Ford, Erica Sullivan, and Wyant. Thomas led early, but was passed by Sullivan and trailed for most of the first half of the race. Thomas and Wyant went stroke for stroke, but in the back half of the race, Thomas pulled away over the final 150 yards to win her first national championship. Okay, so that's just kind of laying out the story and what everyone's kind of all up in a tizzy about, and I get it. I will lay out my opinion here as well, is that I don't think transgender women should be allowed to compete with women because we're just built different, as I've kind of elaborated at the beginning of this show. So let's kind of go over the data of different swimmers and we'll get a little bit of a better feeling for this. So before Leah had transitioned, she was named Will. So I got Will's men's swimming and diving thing pulled up here from 2018 to 2019. And really his record, her former record was impressive actually, when you kind of dive into it and you look at different world records that different people have set. For the 500 free, which is mainly what we're going to focus on because that's kind of what I can find data for and for what the record was set in. The 500 free by Will Thomas was 418.72, which it's pretty good when you kind of start diving into these numbers. And the record that was set was 433.24. So they actually did worse from what I can tell. So, but they beat out the women there. So the previous world record holder was Katie Ledecky, in an article from Swimming World magazine. So I would assume they're probably knowledgeable about swimming stuff. I'm definitely not. Ledecky recorded a 4:30.55 in the 500, beating 4 other swimmers in the race. This was dated October 29th, 2021. So this was quite a few months ago when this record was set. So the other person that had came in second in this race was Emma Wyant. I got the article here pulled up from a Olympic debut. And I'll get into the significance of this here in a second. So Emma Wyant captures silver in her Olympic debut. When Emma Wyant arrives on grounds in a few weeks, she will have a new accessory to bring with her, an Olympic silver medal. The incoming first year was outstanding in her Olympic debut, finishing second in the 400-meter individual medley on Saturday night. Japan's Yui Ohashi finished first with a time of 4:32.08. Wyant's 4:32.76 was a new personal best for the Florida native to the event. To make it to the Olympics, I'm gonna quit reading from here. Let me see if I can stop doing a share screen, and then we'll kind of get back into it here in a minute. To kind of give her compliments on this, it's kind of funny. To get to the Olympics, you have to have phenomenal genetics, right? You would have to be a genetic animal. You'd have to be very, very gifted. Let's think about bodybuilders, right? The Mr. Olympia. Even if Ronnie Coleman didn't do all the drugs that he did, which may not be as much as people might think, he would still look like Ronnie Coleman, right? I'm not this genetic freak, right? I work out, but I work very, very hard to maintain the muscle that I have, and I have to eat copious amounts of protein to maintain said lean mass, and oftentimes train to failure at the end of each, set, not every single set, but like at the end of the set for that specific muscle to, build a little bit more lean mass. Because when you get to your genetic potential, you have to put your all into giving your body the signals to grow. So, kind of a long-winded way to say that clearly Emma is very genetically blessed. When you can make it to the top of your game in anything, clearly you were blessed. You chose the right parents, right? I didn't choose the right parents. I don't look like Ronnie Coleman. I'm never gonna look like Ronnie Coleman. And guess what? That's okay. It's okay. I don't have to look like Ronnie Coleman. I had Mark Lobliner on the show. I don't look like Mark Lobliner. He's got good genetics. He's done steroids. All these people who are ridiculously huge and shredded that you see, a lot of them just have really good genetics. The bodybuilders, Jake Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all those guys that you could possibly name, they have really good genetics and they work really freaking hard for the muscle that they have. It's not like you just do steroids and then you get huge. It's a lot of work. The reason why this connects is because to be at the top of your game of anything, once again, you just have to be very, very genetically blessed, as Emma Wyant is. And clear, I would even say Leah Thomas probably is as well. So kind of going back to this here, she had to be very, very good at her sport in order to make it to the Olympics. So we're going to read from here. Kieran Smith set the 500 world record, the 500-meter world record for a swim as a male, right? So Florida Gators swimming and diving sophomore Kieran Smith set a new American and NCAA 500-meter freestyle record to lead the way for the Gators in the 200 Southeastern Championships. Smith's record-breaking time of 4:06.32 bests the former American mark set of 4:07.25 set by Zane Groth on November 30th, 2017. The date of this, okay, I wasn't sure if that was a different date, but February 20th, 2020. So this is about 2 years, a little over 2 years ago at this point. Kieran, same deal as Ronnie Coleman, same deal as Jay Cutler, same deal as Emma Wyatt, genetically blessed. In order to place a world record, you have to be really, really good at something, right? I don't hold any world records. I mean, I'm maybe good at fixing cars. I'm better than the average guy at lifting weights, as we'll cover here shortly. You have to be really freaking good. It's not easy to be the best at something. I know people want to just wave it away and say, oh, well, it's performance enhancing drugs. Well, even the people who are on performance enhancing drugs or whatever, they're still very, 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 they work very, very hard to do that. So the kind of nail in the coffin for me is when I started learning about muscle protein synthesis and testosterone, and that's kind of a big difference between men and women, right? Is that men have a lot more testosterone than women, and once again, we're just built differently. So we're going to cover this study real quick. It's just the abstract, but you can kind of get everything you need from it. We studied the effect of pharmacological dosing of testosterone and nethate on muscle mass and total body potassium, and on whole body and muscle protein synthesis in normal male subjects. Muscle mass estimated by creatine excretion increased in all 9 subjects. Total body potassium mass estimated by 40K counting increased in all subjects. In 4 subjects, prime continuous infusion protocol with L-leucine was used to determine whole body leucine flux and oxidation. I think I covered this in episode 49 of the show. Leucine is the specific amino acid in proteins that will trigger muscle protein synthesis the most. About 3 grams of leucine is what will trigger that. So the more robust response that you have to leucine, you're going to grow more muscle, right? So whole body protein synthesis was estimated from non-oxidative flux. Muscle protein synthesis rate was determined by measuring a leucine incorporation into muscle samples obtained by needle biopsy. Testosterone increased muscle protein synthesis in all subjects. Leucine oxidation decreased slightly. So leucine oxidation would basically be the burning of leucine where you wouldn't be able to use it, right? But whole body protein synthesis did not change significantly. Muscle morphometry showed no significant increase in muscle fiber diameter. These studies suggest that testosterone increases muscle mass by increasing muscle protein synthesis. So once again, this is why kind of anabolic thresholds are going to be different from men to women, and why men, once again, are stronger than women. We weigh more, we have more body mass, and we have more testosterone. So therefore, our overall strength is just going to be more than that of women's. I'm not saying, repeal the 19th. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying just men are naturally stronger than women. That's okay. We can be okay with this. So this is going to get into kind of averages here, right? So I pulled up strengthlevel.com, and I've looked at this a lot to kind of see how I shape up. We're going to look at deadlift standards in men and women. So as you can see, how much should I be able to deadlift? The beginner should be able to deadlift about 171 pounds and 334 pounds if you're intermediate. The deadlift is basically a lift where you grab a bar on the floor and then you lift it up using pretty much your whole body and then drive your hips forward. Maybe I'll do a video or something like that on proper deadlift form. I don't know. There's plenty of videos on YouTube already, so maybe not. But you're going to see here men on average just have a lot greater strength in this, and that's okay. So we'll look at female here. How much should I be able to deadlift? A beginner should be 85 pounds and an intermediate would be 194 pounds. Funny enough, both my fiance and I, even though she doesn't train as much as I do, we're both I'm well above intermediate and she's above intermediate as well. Her record deadlift, it was, I think 215 or 225, something like that. She's strong and it's cool. My record deadlift was 500 pounds at about 190 pounds. So let's kind of breeze through this here. Um, you can see for the body weight, 110, 93 pounds, all the way up to 349 pounds. We'll go down here to 190, right? The beginner should be able to deadlift 206. And I'm going to 190 because that's about what I weighed when I set my personal record for it. The elite is 546 pounds and the advanced is 448. 448 is relatively easy for me, right? I mean, it's not like, oh, I can just pick it up. I could do it. And then obviously as you get heavier, you're going to have more body mass. So you're going to have more potential basically for muscle because you're just a bigger human. Your power to weight ratio is going to be different. So, 310 pounds and elite would be 761 pounds. So they have a little calculator here. And what do the strength standards mean? Beginner stronger than 5% of lifters. A beginner lifter can perform the movement correctly and has practiced at it for at least a month. Novice stronger than 20%. Intermediate stronger than 50%. Advanced stronger than 80%. And elite is stronger than 95%. An elite lifter has dedicated over 5 years to become competitive at strength sports. So me personally, I'm not quite at elite. I would like to be, but we'll see where that goes because there's a great chance for injury as you put more and more weight on the bar and do lower and lower reps just because it's so strenuous. Obviously our bodies weren't necessarily designed to pick up 500 pounds. So now let's go into women and you're going to see how kind of drastically different this is. So 90, they're, a 90-pound female, a beginner would be able to deadlift 54 pounds, and elite would be 265, right? This at 90 pounds. So let's go up to a 150-pound woman, 93 pounds for a beginner and 344 for an elite. And we kind of define the terms there. Once again, obviously, as you get bigger, a 260-pound female would be able to deadlift 442 at an elite level and 146 pounds at a beginner level. So as you can kind of see by just gender alone, men, their power to weight ratio is completely different, right? So a beginner will only be able to lift, slightly under their weight, whereas women are almost like half of that. And once again, I'm not putting women down. I know that's what people are going to think. That's what people are going to say, but it just kind of is what it is. If that hurts your feelings, I don't know what to tell you. So let's look at mile times as well. So this is going to go by age group and men versus women. Age can influence how fast you run. Most runners reach their fastest pace between the ages of 18 and 30. The average running speed per mile in a 5K or 3.1 mile race is below. This data was collected in the United States in 2010 and is based on the run times of 10,000 runners. So I'll throw my little thing in here. Best time for me in a 5K, I think I set actually during the year of the great vid in 2020, I think I ran a 5K in a little, I want to say like 24 and a half minutes. So ages 16 to 19, your average mile for men would be 9 minutes, 34 seconds. And for women, it would be 12 minutes, 9 seconds. As you get older, that kind of goes in flux a little bit. 2024, they're a little bit quicker. That seems to be ideal then. 9 minutes, 30 seconds for men and 11 minutes, 44 seconds for women. 25 to 29, 10 minutes, 3 seconds, women, 11:42. And then obviously as you get older, you're a little bit more brittle, you lose muscle mass due to something that's been called anabolic resistance, where you need more protein to, have the same muscle protein synthesis response. And, most people typically don't exercise as they get older. So they're not going to have the same aerobic capacity as they get older and older. So 65 to 99, the average was 13 minutes, 52 seconds. And the average for women was 16 minutes, 12 seconds. So that's kind of all I wanted to share there. So once again, my opinion is I don't think the sports companies or these competitions should allow female transgenders in. And that's not to say I don't think they should be allowed to compete in sports. It's not saying I want the government to go in. I know people are going to think that and think that's what I'm endorsing, but I'm not. I'm just saying I think it's not fair to women who are genetically blessed or women who have worked very, very hard their entire lives to have their dreams essentially smashed because someone decided that they no longer wanted to be a male and they wanted to become a female, and a female wanted to compete in that sport. I admire anybody who competes, really. If you compete in powerlifting, that's cool. That's awesome. Go kick ass. But it's not fair to people who don't have the same genetic gift of testosterone, right? Men, once again, naturally have more testosterone, as reviewed in that study. Testosterone, it seems to be suggested that that's going to give you more muscle mass. And yes, there's women that are bigger than men, but on average, men are just bigger and more muscular than women. And I'm not, once again, I've said it a million times, but I'm not putting down women. This is just the way it is. I hope I didn't crush too many people's feelings. If you're looking to get strong and jacked, you should use some of the supplements that I do, Access Ledge supplements. Go ahead, go on there. I'll have an affiliate link here in the description below, and use code Matovcik10, MATOVCIK10 at checkout. Let them know I sent you. You get a little discount. Feel free to let me know what you think about this. Tell me how wrong I am. Tell me I'm a transphobe, whatever you got to do. This is kind of my thoughts, and I figured I should put it out there as somebody who considers himself an athlete and a fitness advocate. I felt like there need to be a little bit more nuance and a little bit more information put into this rather than just transgender bad, transgender shouldn't compete. Well, I agree. I don't agree that they're bad, but I agree that we need to talk about this a little bit more and give actual, sound evidence and data as to why this is the case. That's my opinion. And I've seen other people say maybe they could just, take exogenous hormones. I don't know. I don't think that's really a good solution, because you're not going to undo 20, 30 years of having testosterone and being able to get the benefits of that, of building muscle and enjoy the privileges of having higher testosterone as a female. I don't think you can just do away with that. Maybe you can. Maybe I'm full of crap. I sincerely don't know. But hopefully my thoughts were helpful. If anybody disagrees, I'd be glad to talk to anybody about this. Just kind of let me know what you think. And you guys know where I'm at on Twitter and on Facebook. And until next time, everybody, take care.